Hi guys and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Swift Celeste 560. These are essentially basic walkthrough video of how to set up and operate your caravan. Starting off first, you've got your black shed here and your black lever, which you have to have pulled up like that, and then wind down your jockey wheel onto the tow ball. When it is on, that will snap back down, push up that red button and expose a green ring. Just here you have your handbrake. Your handbrake is used as a handbrake and it's just a case of pushing up just like that. You have 13 pin electric just here, so if you do have 7 pin, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. And then you have your jockey wheel just on the side, which is used to level the caravan. 2 points either side and 2 points at your back. You have inserts for your legs. Now, the caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or you can grab yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill and just make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using the legs. They are simply used for stabilisation. Just here, I have a red propane gas bottle with an in-date black gas hose connecting onto this regulator just here. You hand tighten that to an extent and then just nip it up using a spanner. Once both sides are firmly connected, twist this in the open or positive direction and that will begin to feed gas through into the caravan. Just make sure as well you don't cross-thread it and that it's not on too tight. Just here we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. Got an aqua roll here full of clean drinking water, and then I've got the water pump just here. So the water pump just slots in by just pressing in, and then it's on a trigger system, so you have to press in on the trigger to be able to pull it out. I've got this plastic cap here to go over the top of the aqua roll, and then at the bottom you have your strainer. Now it's critical that the strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel, as that is what is going to pull the water through. As you can see, the previous owners have had some PVC pipe put over the bottom, and essentially that is because these leads have a bit of a tendency to curl up, and by putting that pipe on, it makes sure that it's nice and continually straight. But all you have to do, just press it in just like that, and to remove it, press in on the trigger and pull out just like so. And there we go. Then just next to it we have your battery locker. You've got a battery already installed on this example. Got your terminals there. Then you have your plug-in for your mains just here, which just pushes in, and then you've got a cap to lock it into place. Then you have a little bit of a cutout here, which allows the mains lead to come through so that you can lock it up. And just here we have your toilet system. So first up, underneath here you have your 2 inserts. Now that's where your wastewater will come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe that you can then empty out at the appropriate point on site after feeding this into a waste master. Just here you have your cassette for your toilet. This is where all of your waste will eventually go into, from at least the toilet side. So to remove this, when it's time to empty it, you press up on the orange handle and pull towards you like so. Now what you can also do is extend that handle out and it turns into a bit of almost like a carry-on suitcase. Then when it's time to empty, twist this orange head to the side, open up that cap just like so. You need to tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing this button here to vent. And what you can do is open up that catch just there, shut it back up after putting in some fresh water, give it a little bit of a shake, and again tilt and vent just so it's a little bit more fresh inside the actual cassette. Then on your cap you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into that cap, back onto there, twist the head to the side and push it in so that that orange handle sits behind those white teeth. That way it can't be removed without pressing up. Then just here, this is your flush tank, so it can hold 12 litres, however I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill it. You can also add a little bit of what's called pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and makes it smell a bit nicer. Now, you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so to fully empty the flush tank, you've got this little bung up here. Open it up and drain off the caravan. The caravan will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have all of this here, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything underneath here as you don't want anything to get damaged. Underneath there you have your main boiler that are fed into by these blue leads. On this blue lead you have that yellow switch valve. That switch valve in its current position is allowing the flow of water to come through. When it's down and horizontal as it is, it can be down either way. That is allowing water to come in. When it's flicked up to the vertical position, that is not allowing water to come through and is draining off any water inside the system. We are going to leave the caravan with it up in the vertical position, so please just double check before coming to use it. Anytime you're finished on site, just flick up that valve and make sure you drain it off, as you don't want water inside the system whilst you're travelling. November to March, I'd have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, as any water inside that system may freeze over and potentially burst the pipes. The white box next to it, that is your brain box for your motor mover if you ever need to do a reset. This silver box on the side, that is your battery charger, and then you have all your trips and your fuses up top there. All your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position. You can see heating and hot water is illuminate, as well as charger, meaning that those are both activated, and then you have a reverse polarity button just there. You also have the complete and utter system shutdown button just there as well, which essentially you press that in and nothing inside the caravan will work. When I pull this board down here, you can see I do have a little bit more information on the trips and fuses if I need to do a reset or put in a new fuse, what it corresponds to. I would recommend that you carry some extra fuses with you as well inside the caravan in case one goes. And just here we have your Swift command board, which is essentially everything that you need to operate the caravan itself. So I've got a water pump button first here, so I'll just say that is essentially like your iPad home screen and everything else is touchscreen. So at the top you can see internal temperature is 18 degrees in the van, outside's 14. It's not the 16th, but you just do a reset on that. And then you have the amount of charge inside the leisure battery. First up though, you've got water pump. So when you have that light blue border and you have your switch in the correct position, come over to either of your taps, open up on both hot and cold. And what you're looking for is that nice steady continuous stream. Any coughs or splutters, go outside and check that the strainer is sitting at the bottom of the barrel. You may get the odd one when you first kick it up, but then you can see it's nice and steady now. When you first get plugged in, I'd recommend waiting 2 to 3 minutes, then come over to your taps and let it run for about 30 seconds just so that you can see. On both hot and cold. But do that, you can also do it on your other taps and showers. And it's when it has the border around there. Next up, awning lights. You can see again, lighter border. Go outside and you can see your awning light is on. Then you have actual lighting inside. So press that button, press on that side. There you can see it lights up on the front. You press on the middle there to turn it on, and that turns on the back ones. You can then dim the lighting using that button just there. Increase it the opposite way. There we go. And turn it off, just press the middle. Next up, you've got power. So this shows you the amount of power coming into the caravan. So right now it says 13.1 volts coming from the leisure battery. That is not going to be accurate as we currently have mains plugged in. But when you don't have mains plugged in, that will give you the representation of the amount of charge from the battery. You have the amount coming from solar and the amount coming from vehicle there. Obviously, there's not going to be anything coming from vehicle as we're not hooked on. Then you can see AC current and also set limits for it. Then this one is synced up to your outer wet central heating. So I will show you first on this board here. So press menu and this comes to this board. So first up, you've got the thermometer in the house. That is for the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. As you can see, when I click up on this, it does correspond with that. That goes up to a maximum of 30 and goes up by 0.5. It does take around about an hour for the caravan to get up to heat. Next, you've got your water temperature. So you can either have it off like that, halfway, which that says is normal, which essentially gets the water to about 40 to 50 degrees, and we'll keep it there, or you can have it on full, which you can see corresponds to boost. Now what boost does, it prioritizes the water heat over the actual internal temperature of the caravan for about 15 minutes, and then it will drop it back down after those 15 minutes to that middle position. Then you've got your two energy sources, so you can either run electric with 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. As you can see there, 3 kilowatts, 3 volts. Or if I take that all the way down, I can run it on strictly gas, which you can see there lights up there, or gas and 1, 2 and 3 kilowatts. So it's just dependent on what you'd like to run it on. Then you've got some additional settings just here. If you'd like to have a look inside your book pack to see what those correspond to, I'm essentially doing the basics of how to set it up. But you can also control it through here. So you have mode with a manual, a timer, which if I press that in, allows me to set a timer for when I like it to come on and off, or you can run it through the actual Swift Command app. Then again, similar to that panel, you have your general settings. So you've got the time, you've got the date of the day, you've got screen brightness, screen timeout, a key beep, so when you press in, you'll hear it beep, and you could also pair Bluetooth devices and have a night mode. Very, very simple to actually use there. Then lastly, you have radio. So inside here, you have this Sergeant panel, and that is your radio module. You can plug in an aux cord through there and play music straight off your phone, or you could use this. So you've got your volume button here to correspond with the speakers up top. You can scan, and then you've got mode. So it's currently off. Press it in, it's FM, so then you just scan, and you can also set favorites, DAB, aux as I mentioned, or off, or you can connect through the Swift Command app or via Bluetooth and then play music straight off your phone. Going quickly back to this, to turn this off, pressing that button just there, and the same with this one, you press and hold in on that button just there. Then just here we have your hob, grill and oven. So everything here operates off gas minus the electric plate. So electric plate you just change to whatever gas mark you want and it will get to that temperature. Everything else you have to press it on the dial, twist it to the side, and at the same time press the igniter just here. This is what it looks like when they're lit. As you can see, all burners nice and lit. Turn it off back to the central position. Then for the grill, again you can see all burners nice and lit. And lastly, your oven. And again, a little bit more awkward to see, but you can see the flame there. Only other real thing to note, you don't want to travel with your gas on, and you need to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all these burners are cold to the touch. Then just here we have your domestic fridge operation. So to turn this on, press and hold in on this button just here. It will flash up and go to its most recent memory, which in this case was mains on full capacity. To change the amount of power coming into the van, you press that thermometer button, 5 being the max, so it's going to be the most powerful, and chill it the quickest. Then you have this button here, which is for your sauce. So right now I'm on mains. Press it once, it goes over to auto. Auto will automatically choose what the fridge thinks is the best sauce to use. Now, when I press it again, it's going to go over to the battery icon. The battery corresponds to your 13-pin electrics from your car. So if you're not plugged in, it's going to do this. It'll begin to flash up and beep at you, showing you that hazard. Press it once again and it goes over to gas. Now for gas, you'll hear it gradually begin to tick in. And once it's finished ticking, that means it is then lit. What I would say, when you do initially first get plugged into gas and turn on the bottle, first just check your hob grill and oven, make sure that's all working, and then run it from your fridge if you want to do so. But yeah, simple as that. Sauce button, power button, and then on and off button just there. And then just here we have your toilet function, which you might say is box simple. Lift up this lid here, press in this button, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what would circulate any water that is inside the flush tank. Then to get rid of your waste, press away on this handle, opens up to the cassette toilet, pull it back as otherwise you won't be able to get the cassette toilet out. When the cassette toilet is full, there'll be a red icon come up underneath that part just there, telling you to empty it.